Dear DSA students, we are so excited to be on this journey with you, and we want to say a big well done for your commitment and enthusiasm so far. Whether you have just joined or you have been learning with us over the past few weeks, we see your progress and we are rooting for you all the way. Now, we know there's been a bit of silence around the learning management system, and we sincerely apologize for that. But here's the good news. We have an update as regards the learning management system, and it is one you'll love. Some of you may have been onboarded on the previous LMS, but want to ask that you kindly disregard any previous link, platform, or communication concerning that old system. We are officially switching to a new platform that you may be familiar with, Canvas by Instructure. For those new to Canvas, don't worry. A video tutorial will be uploaded to guide you step by step on how to use the platform effectively on our YouTube channel. You will also receive an onboarding email directly from Canvas by Instructure to help you get started. Please follow the instructions in the email and input your details to begin your learning journey on the platform. We are committed to making sure your learning experience is smooth, interactive, and impactful. So please, pay close attention to the announcements coming right after this video for more details. We are so glad to have you with us. Keep going, you've got this. Dear DSA students, we are so excited to be on this journey with you, and we want to say a big well done for your commitment and enthusiasm so far. Whether you have just joined or you have been learning with us over the past few weeks, we see your progress and we are rooting for you all the way. Now, we know there's been a bit of silence around the learning management system, and we sincerely apologize for that. But here's the good news. We have an update as regards the learning management system, and it is one you'll love. Some of you may have been onboarded on the previous LMS, but want to ask that you kindly disregard any previous link, platform, or communication concerning that old system. We are officially switching to a new platform that you may be familiar with, Canvas by Instructure. For those new to Canvas, don't worry. A video tutorial will be uploaded to guide you step by step on how to use the platform effectively on our YouTube channel. You will also receive an onboarding email directly from Canvas by Instructure to help you get started. Please follow the instructions in the email and input your details to begin your learning journey on the platform. We are committed to making sure your learning experience is smooth, interactive, and impactful. So please, pay close attention to the announcements coming right after this video for more details. We are so glad to have you with us. Keep going, you've got this.
And clear. Can you hear me loud and clear, please? Good evening. Yeah, I am Kunle Shegun. Good and beautiful evening. Lisi, good evening. Caleb Peter, Ojo, Lua Funshaw, Ndukuba, Olusola. Good and beautiful evening. It's nice to be here. Wherever you are from all over the world, I say good morning, good afternoon, and beautiful evening. It's that time where we talk project management. Tonight is going to be another interesting moment where we will discuss quality and procurement management. As is our usual practice, With me on the anchor tonight is my co-facilitator, Nancy Baba Ali. Once again, I say welcome. Banjo, Onoha, Osita Dima, Lawrence, Chinemerem, Precious Faith, Precious William. You're welcome. Lawrence, thank you for welcoming me back to the class this evening. It's good to be back here. It's very good to be back, especially after a very wonderful weekend. And I'll start as usual this class tonight with saying, how was the weekend? And put me through what were your key takeaways from the last week class. I'm sure Nancy Babali did a very, very, very wonderful job. So it's good that we start from there tonight. Esther, how was the weekend? And let's do a recap. What were your key takeaways last week? And were there any challenges? Were there something new you learned? Salome, good evening. Yeah, Casey, good evening. Nancy, oh, I have a Nancy in the class too. Mabel, good evening. Adeyemi, Remilekun, good evening. Welcome, welcome, and welcome once again. So, how was it? The weekend, and nice to be here. I'm sure in some parts of Nigeria it's raining, and I hope the rain pours down some good blessings to everyone. So, yeah, Ojo has kicked off tonight with that she learned about project scheduling tools. So it's very good. So tell me more. What did you learn? I can see that Elizabeth, thank you for bringing up my other name, Adiole. Yeah, thank you. Tina, good evening. I can see the greetings coming in from left, right, and center. It's nice to be here. A whole lot to learn tonight. Yeah, a whole lot, a whole lot, a whole lot. So Emosu says that her weekend was fine, and yes, mine was very, very good, though stressful. But trust me, we had to do the best out of it with project management technology, or terminologies, methodologies, and we were able to scale through. So we have started kicking off tonight with um, a bit of a recap. So, key takeaways. I can see Banjo says her takeaway was the understanding of project scheduling and tools. Why Nancy says she learned about agile and waterfall methodologies. Okay, so there's a whole lot that we learned, and I can see. Wow, I'm also added here that milestones, network diagrams, Gantt charts, giving room for criticisms when necessary, and also an aspect of report to top management at every stage. So, yeah, thank you, Tina. She said that Nancy did a very, very beautiful, fantastic job with her topics. Thank you for that commendation. I'm sure that you still have more coming with Nancy Baba Ali. So, each time we gather just as we here tonight, it's a time to learn something new. Like from our first class, we did say that every class should be an opportunity to learn and interact. At least pick something that can add value. And then I can see Okafor says that you learn something about critical path, how the choice you make in trying to put up with your task, your schedules, knowing how to arrange them. I think in that class we also saw some diagrams that really help, and also dependencies and types of dependencies. Honestly, there are certain tasks that cannot be executed without a previous task being concluded, or depending on one task or the other. So yeah, that's great. That's great. So I'm very happy tonight to see that. Yeah, we learned a whole lot. Critical path method, project scheduling techniques. We also saw things like how to put up with the Gantt charts and then your network diagrams, and then a bit of trying to understand how to use not just the Gantt charts, but like the MS Project software, which is one of the visualization tools. Okay, so it also calls for more learning. Okay, it doesn't end on the class. Well, Ojo says that she was the boss and the merge methodology, so it was very interesting. So I can see it a whole lot: the ADM, the PDM, and Jefta also corroborates with that how to use Gantt charts, setting your timelines, um, assigning tasks, scheduling roles and responsibilities, who does what, when, how, yeah, also how to sequence your activities. Very important. You know, in life, you must be able to pattern your activities such that it will give you good success. So, a good measure of success. So, once again, yeah, Sasonel, you're welcome. Eunice, you're also welcome. Thank you for, yeah, I think, yeah, Prince Timmy, I quite agree with you. You said the importance of project scheduling and how it aims helps a manager make the best use of time while scheduling activities. So it's very important. Nancy also adds here that smart goals are also very key. Although Fumilayo, you're not late, but I agree, 11 minutes, but I think we are still having a recap. So yeah, yes, after the Tuesday class, yes, there was another session. So please, just like this week, we're also going to have Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday. Okay, so let's just try it first. I'm sure that we are definitely going to learn a whole lot. So tonight, yes, I want to specially appreciate everyone who has contributed, made input to what we learned last week, and also the commendation to Miss Nancy Daba Ali as well. She's always there. Okay, so tonight we are going to delve into another wonderful, very interesting class. So Chinenye, you're welcome. Says that she learned about using critical path analysis to make scheduled trade. So I'm sure that by going by this class, which is the class is I'm just going to say that whatever you learn in class, just try to see, no matter how little, maybe even if it's 1%, try to implement, okay? Especially looking at the critical path, you'll discover that with critical path, it helps you both in critical thinking, reasoning, and problem solving as a project manager. So it's very key. Then communication is very key also. Omomi says so too. And I quite agree with you. Communication is key as a project manager. So everything that we bring on board, our work goes a long way to tell that yes, we must do it right. So I'm super confident you're welcome. So if we're ready tonight, can I see? I just need to know who and who are ready. So if you're ready, let's see and say yes, we are ready. And then, yeah, while I take Stella's comments, she says Gantt chart is very important. It helps the manager to organize its activities in a timely manner. Every project is time bound. So, but Dunaya is the first to say that he's ready. So, Secret Man ready, Rachel ready, Adeyemi is also ready. So let's roll tonight. Tonight, we will be talking about quality assurance and control techniques. And also, we'll be looking at procurement processes, vendor selection, and contract management. So, quality assurance, I'm sure we hear this a whole lot. Over and again, the word quality assurance is not new to any one of us. Maybe there may be, but there may not be much. But I'm sure. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks for everyone who is ready tonight. I'm really ready to roll as well. So we have started tonight's session to say that quality assurance and control, very two key important elements as far as project management is concerned. Now, let me just take the literal meaning, the literal word when you say quality. Quality means you want a high level of result, okay? A standard, a high level of standard to meet not just your expectations, but the stakeholder expectations must also be met. So quality is very key. And then when you look at the word assurance, ordinarily you tell someone, I'm going to deliver in 2 days, for example. You're assuring that person that in 2 days' time, you are going to deliver, and that person takes your word. So when we talk about quality assurance in project management, it's very key. It's a key aspect because before you even mention the word quality assurance, we must look at what quality management. Okay, so quality management. Why quality management? What exactly is quality management? So we are not delving yet into quality assurance, but I want to bring us to an understanding. Let's start from somewhere and then we move gradually so that we can get a very clear understanding of why quality assurance is very key in project management. So quality assurance are concerned with the processes or the activities that determine and ensure that the deliverables of any particular project meet the specified requirements and they are fit for purpose. So when we say something is fit for purpose, for example, you're building a house, that house must be livable. Someone cannot be in that building and start getting scared of living in that particular building. Somebody cannot sit in a chair made by a furniture maker, for example, and get scared of sitting on that seat. So the chair or the furniture must be fit for purpose. Okay? If you are an event planner for a wedding or for any particular activity, your actions and inactions must be fit for purpose. So it must meet the demand of the time. So it must meet the requirements. That's why we're saying it should definitely be fit for purpose. So it must be done as expected with the minimum acceptable standard. Okay. For example, you have NAFDAC regulating drug administration and usage in Nigeria, for example. So if there's a drug, for example, headache, that drug should not increase headache. It should meet the purpose for why it was what produced. So irrespective of whatever activity you engage yourself in as a project manager, that particular action or activity must meet specifics. It must be fit for the purpose. It must meet the design considerations. It must meet the set standard. So in project management, when we talk about quality management, it means that that project output, whatever you are giving out as the project manager in terms of expected outcomes, must not only be efficient, but it must be effective and what? Consistent. So it must meet the expectations of the customers and also retain the standard for which that particular project was done. So we also add here that quality management is definitely very essential because it impacts customer satisfaction. So every product that goes into the market, for example, must meet customer satisfaction. If you are not satisfied with the product or the end product, even as a product manager or a designer or a graphics person, whatever you're engaged in, whatever activity it is, you must meet the expectation of the customer. The customer must be satisfied. So most times in marketing, we say that the customer is always right. Why is it right? Simply because the customer has a measure of value that is adding to that particular product to make it what it should be. So if the customer says, I'm not satisfied, if the stakeholders in your project or your project sponsor says that they are not satisfied with the outcome of the project delivered, it means that you have not met quality standard and the expectation is low. So it also helps to reduces that moment of going back to the beginning or in between the work to start up what you had already could have concluded. It also helps to improve efficiency and can have also significant cost implications. Remember that every project, one key value or factor that affects every project is budget, cost. So cost is also a constraint. So quality management starts at the planning phase, goes to the assurance phase, goes to the control phase, and then you engage in what we call continuous improvement. So when we talk about planning, I'm sure that the general term word for planning means that it says whoever fails to plan have already failed to succeed. I choose to use that word that way simply because no, or look cotton, you've not missed much. Okay, we are just starting. So we're talking about quality assurance, and we're saying that every project must go through the quality management. So quality management entails planning, assurance, control, and then continuous improvement. So you must, as a project manager, always have that level of understanding to look out for every phase of quality management. So we have cases where there are people, project managers, who are supposed to purchase 50 bags of cement, let's say 250 bags of cement for a particular phase of a building project. And what happens next? You discover that for the fact that they want to retain a part of the fund for their personal purposes, which is not part of the project, they reduce the number of bags to, for example, 200, they pocket the 50, and then they mix the 200 in a way that it doesn't even fit for purpose. After a few years, you begin to see the stakeholders begin to express dissatisfaction in the level of work that was done. So they whole lot. And that's why quality determines, it goes a long way to determine how you as a project manager would be seen in the eyes of the project. I hope we are following. If you're with me, please, can I confirm that you're getting a level of understanding tonight? Together. I need to be sure that I'm moving with my class. I just need to be sure about that. Before we delve into quality assurance, we need to understand quality assurance. You must have an understanding of quality management. You must, so quality assurance is control, because planning is just like the beginning, okay, the first point of the go-to aspect of your project. So we must understand that to get quality management right, you must plan for quality. To tell yourself that, see, we can't joke with this. Hello, can I confirm that you can hear me loud and clear? Hello, can you hear me loud and clear, please? Okay, so yeah, sure. Now, so we delve straight into quality assurance. Okay, the first step in the quality management process, which is definitely not the focus of our class tonight, but I need everyone to understand that you can't just delve into quality assurance without looking at a holistic quality management process, which spans through planning, going through quality assurance, going through quality control, and then looking at what we call sustainability on the other use of the word, which is continuous improvement. So, when you talk about planning, quality planning, I think this work is going on good. What I have seen from the beginning is good, is convincing to go ahead. So I guess if you can't hear me, please you can just either refresh your your link so that you can get back. Okay. I think from here the audio is quite clear. Okay. All right. So let's move ahead. Okay. All right. So like I said, it's raining heavily right here, but I think quality assurance. Okay. Why quality assurance is a proactive process. Okay. Now I choose that word, proactive process. Okay. So please don't forget that proactive process. Okay. Now, why proactive process is um proactive process is um because it leads you further down the project. It gives you a mind's view of the project. It focuses on ensuring that the project processes are patterned or structured in a way that gives you the desired quality. You don't compromise on quality. So it ensures that the standards that you've set are followed through during the project execution phase and identifies any potential issues before they arise. Let's take, for example, a case of someone preparing um, a cake, maybe a three-step cake for a wedding. Okay. And reality, the mixture, the ingredients for that particular cake, they were complete, but they were purchased complete, no issues at all. But then during the mixing phase, the flour and other um condiments, things that would make that cake to bake properly, discover that maybe a measured where you're supposed to measure a quarter, a measured half, and added and mixed. Now you can discover that at the end of the baking process, one side of the cake begins to shrink. Now something is fundamentally wrong. The ingredients that were procured was gotten perfectly, no problem. But in the mixture, to get the right quality, because you're preparing a three-step cake, the first step, the second will stand on the first, and the second will stand on the third, and the first will stand on the second. Subsequently, the load will be on the third. So if the foundation at the third layer is not mixed properly, there's definitely going to be problem. So what we are saying that quality assurance looks at is it follows through the processes to get the best. The processes to get the best. So that wherever there's a crack in between, you can easily discover it even before it happens. So you try to prevent it rather than allowing it to happen or to occur. So what some of the key elements you can find in quality assurance is that it helps you check, it helps you to assess the project. It helps you to assess the steps, the stages in between the project. It helps you to process where there are budget deficiencies. It helps you to focus on where there are defects before they even happen. So it also helps you to monitor closely and continuously each process to see that you're adhering to quality standards. So sometimes we see different projects fail. And the question is, why do projects fail? Key to failure here is quality assurance. We talked about communication before we started the class in our recap. One of the participants did mention communication. So here you must involve all the stakeholders in the quality assurance process. You cannot keep the stakeholders in the dark. Everybody must be carried along. If there's a change, there must be a process. You must inform, you must update, you must communicate, you must apply a change management process or principle. So let's take a pause here, and then let's go back to the class, and let's hear from you. Um, have you encountered any any project where what kind of project is it that you encountered that had quality assurance issues, or where you had to improve the quality assurance process to see that the project meets the desired quality? So let's hear from our participants tonight. Let's see what kind of projects they've been involved in, and what kind of activity. Then we'll come back to talk a little more about quality assurance, and what are the steps we can take further. Yes, Akano says that he is a solar installer. Definitely, quality assurance is very key. I've heard in times past where you want to buy, for example, some say, I don't want to be specific, I don't want to mention any brand name, but some will tell you, if it's this brand, please don't mention this brand. Don't get this brand for me. Can you get this other brand? Okay. After 6 months, the battery begins to wind down, and yes, so that's for solar. Temitope says quality assurance and the educational environment, very key. Rehabilitation of a story building and deck work. I'm sure that the deck work is very important. In fact, from the foundation, if you don't get the foundation very well, there's a problem. Yes, that's all who says that it was during an installation of a projector. Okay. Osita Dima is mentioning a building project. Charles says manufacturing company. Manufacture, very key, very, very key, very key. In fact, you must have a quality assurance manager. Quality assurance manager. Visual artist, yes. In art, I'm sure that a quality assurance you can do without that. You can do without that. Building construction, yes. So, Stephen, you will definitely see the difference between QA and QC. Okay. For now, just focus on the. You definitely we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay. So don't be in a hurry. Okay. Yes, Adi says he worked as a quality control personnel. Happened in a food production company. So, music industry, collapse of an ongoing building. That's a very serious issue. Very, very serious issue. So we can see that quality assurance calls through all aspects of the project management life cycle. So even a Zobo producing company, Onyinyechi says that there's a way you prepare the zobo, and when the taste, if you add too much sugary, if there's much of what do you call additives, if there are much additives, even the person that's once that your customer takes at the first time, will not come back again. You've lost that customer. So quality assurance is very key. Yeah, I can see a quantity surveyor, preparing of BOQ, very important. Work in the building industry, material testing. I can see there's a whole lot. Even in fashion design, okay, we have in mind quality assurance to sustain our customer base. So we can see that without quality, we will definitely not only lose customer satisfaction, because when we started the class, we said that quality satisfaction is key in quality management. So it's not just about you starting up, it's about even the end product. So each phase of the quality management process must be followed through, else someone else who has better quality can take off the project from you. Even the sponsor can say, hey, please hold it. I think you're losing it in this project. You're not getting it right. You don't even have an understanding of what you're supposed to do. So you may even be dropped out of that particular project, and someone who is better would be hired. So, all right, I want to really appreciate everyone for their comments tonight. So, if the foundation is not strong enough in a building, the end result would be not just disastrous, very, very disastrous. Even in the food and drug industry, the conglomerate industry, so the beverage, so everything, it's very key. Some years ago, there was one of I think it's chocolate, where we discovered while it was opened, it was still new, some insects were in it just from the factory. So sometimes you can discover that you now ask yourself, where could that happen? What how did it happen? So quality assurance must ensure that whatever goes into the package must be the right content, else it's going to be a bigger problem. So sometimes we can even lose yogurt production. Yes, just to name it. So I'm glad that we understand that we cannot do without quality assurance. Now let's go back to the class tonight. Okay. Now let's talk a little more about, now let's look at quality control. Remember we said that quality assurance is a proactive process, but quality control is a reactive process because it tries to identify and fix defects in the project deliverables. So whatever the project has become, something has gone wrong. So we need to inspect, we need to test, we need to review the outputs so that we can be sure that it has met the quality standards or the expectation. So we must be able to inspect and test the deliverables. We must identify any deviations from the quality standards. We must also implement corrective actions to address these defects and then verify that these actions that we took has actually met the customer requirements. So sometimes, like I think we have here those who are in the sewing industry, the fashion industry. For example, the customer tests the clothing and it's a bit tight here and there, maybe one side of it. So you have to do some measure of trying to where are these things, where did it happen, did the allowance, is it properly done? I think where did it happen, what happened? So it has to review. Okay, so it's very key. So I think tonight, yes, Adedipe is taking something from the class tonight: proactive process against a reactive process. So we are now beginning to see some of the differences between QA and QC. Okay, so it's very key to understand that in quality control, we're trying to be reactive because it's born out of an action that has also occurred. Okay, or sometimes we need to see, like, there are some drugs, for example. You see people, why are people, why are there people, we had the issues that some persons, after taking a particular drug, becomes very reactive. So what exactly, where did this happen, what happened? So you now ask yourself, you try to identify where the faults were actually in the project. So for every manufacturing organization or company, yeah, they are into projects. So any particular drug that they bring into the market is a project. So whatever you're doing, if you purchase something, you see something online, um, and then you look at the view and you feel that this is, I like this, I want to buy this. You make your specification, you choose, and you order it, and it gets to you, and you discover that what you bought, in fact, is not what you clearly saw on on the online marketplace. Quite disappointed. Okay, so it's very key, it's very important to understand that uh, everything that we do, as much as you try to assure your project, you also have a measure of control. So in case something happens, how do you address the issue? How do you try to resolve that particular issue? So let's look at the, we're saying here tonight that um, the QA and QC are actually two critical components of a holistic quality management system within the project management life component of any particular project. So they both try to ensure that the outputs meet the specified quality requirements, but they don't do it the same way. Okay, QA try to focus on preventing the defects, and QC tries to identify and correct the defect. Okay, thank you, Tina. So, what we're doing tonight is try to understand that QA and QC are like brothers and sisters. They're working together, okay, but in different ways to achieve the same goal. Okay, the end goal is the expected outcome. For example, you are building a two-story building. At the end of the day, nobody will ask you what QA method you use or what QC you did, but all the focus is the expected outcome: a successful, completely well furnished apartment that will stand the test of time. Not after a year, you begin to see cracks, defects everywhere, and it's a whole lot of problems. So that's what QA tries to focus on, while QC tries to look at how do we, pick up any defects in the finished products. Okay. So, yeah, QC measures may require recalling a batch of a defective product from the market. Very true, very true. A lot of products have been called back from the market simply by what, QC. So the QC approach, so it's very key, very important. Okay. So, what are some of the characteristics of quality assurance? Why do we need quality assurance? What do you see? Okay, before I take that, let's see. Dove says she was involved in a teenager camp meeting for an NGO, but then on the date of the event, we discovered the beds for the teens were not all in good shape due to breach in communication. See why communication is very important. If communication, so the question is, I would like to know more, Dove. Where did it all go wrong? The project manager, the stakeholders, where exactly? I think that would be key for learning tonight. I think because when we share, give insights into some of our experiences, there are other persons here on the platform that learns from that particular experience and also see value in trying to resolve issues that arise. Because as a project manager, you will definitely at all times be faced with one challenge or the other. Sometimes there are challenges that no one else have ever faced before. Okay, All right. So quality assurance is very proactive. Like I said, it's a proactive process. It tries to prevent the problem before they occur. Okay. And then it is also process oriented from one stage to another gradually. Okay. You see, when the processes are effective, the final product is most likely to meet the quality expectations. So sometimes where we have issues in this aspect of process, okay, sometimes there's a jump. Okay, managers do skip one process, not for the fact that that process needs to be skipped, but they just do it to just cut corners. And when you do that, the disaster is waiting ahead to happen. So also, quality assurance tries to comply with standards. Sometimes when you hear ISO 901, the International Organization for Standardization globally, you discover that when you say you are ISO 9001 or 9102 certified, people take you serious. Why? Because they look at certain things. Step further to improve their standardization. So you say you have um like a product that goes into the market. Before the product goes into the market, you have gotten some certifications, okay, to show that yes, I think this product is going to be of great value to society, to the world. So what we are trying to say tonight is that, okay, I think your audio is okay now. It's okay. I think, like I said, it's raining. So yeah, we have ManCap, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, blah blah, yeah, some things like that. And now you discover that there are a whole lot of compliance with standards. So when you are working in an organization that your product or your project is certified to a level, it gives a kind of leverage. People take you serious. Okay, the visibility comes like if it was 1% before, it goes up to 10, goes up to 20. So that's why you see some organizations, they have different certifications here and there, because these organizations have come to certify the level of quality they bring on board their what they do. Okay, like in construction, there are some construction organizations that in Nigeria, when you mention them, you can say yes, they are doing exceedingly well. So organizations will want to give out contracts to them because they see them as people who are not just in business, but they are in business to get everything done the way it's supposed to be done. So it's very key. Then continuous improvement. So there's always need for regularly reviewing and refining your processes. So because um, even when you are into you're in the beverage industry, you discover that every now and then they review both the packaging, the content, even in biscuits. You see different organizations, different biscuits producers. What they do is from time to time they launch different products. Why are they doing these things? They want to keep their face running in the business and to produce something that is top notch. So sometimes you see chocolate biscuits when one organization, one beverage company or industry company or firm brings up one chocolate brand biscuit, other organizations tend to do similar. So they are trying, and those organizations that are doing these things, they continuously review and refine their processes so that the taste yesterday will not be the same today. Today should be better than yesterday because the quality assurance team is working, doing things that would make sure that they are not out of the market. And that is how it is with every business. Okay. So then what are the steps we need to take in quality assurance? We need to define the standards and the processes. What kind of standard do you want to set? What kind of standards then do you need to meet with the processes so that you can be able to achieve um, um, the goal? Yeah, thank you. Indomie noodles releasing different flavors and they are all good. So that's quality assurance. The quality assurance department are not sleeping. Day to day, they are always thinking about how best can we improve what we're doing. The same thing with the yogurt production, yes, and a whole lot. So, what about if a certain defect is also expected at percentage of 0.5? Does products such require a recall as well? It all depends. Olayiwola, it all depends. Um, there are different factors that lead to a recall of a particular brand or product in a market. Okay, so there are checklists. I think we've talked about checklists. I think checks are also part of the quality control process, which we will look at later on. But I just want you to understand that as a project manager, always have at the back of your mind that you need a checklist even when before your product goes into the market, when your product is in the market, and then the feedback from that project, from that product. So it's very key that you must understand that if that's why I said sustainability at the end of when you have your finished product, it doesn't mean hooray that yes, oh, I'm done. No, that product, can it stay 3 months without breaking? Like, can it stay 3 months without losing moisture content? For example, those who are into conglomerates, can your the finished building project, can it stay like a year without undergoing defects? I mean, very noticeable defects. So these are a whole lot of issues that lead to things like this. So we must be able to define what kind of standard do we want to set. Yeah. So if you are a paint producer, whether independent or producer, or you're working for an organization, you must understand that huh, we have oil paints today, we have emulsion, we have these ones now that you just paint, you can even clean off a whole lot. So it's very important to understand that quality, you can't toil with quality control. Okay, quality assurance. So you must also develop what we call a quality management plan. So that plan would help you to know what procedures are we going to use, what tools are we going to implement, what would be the techniques that must come. Thank you, Elise. Super. Yeah, satin paints. Thank you so much. So okay, Zion is asking a question. I think I'll get to that. There are a lot of branches to go into to be a project manager, be it healthcare. My question is, will we be taught practical classes after for experience? Now, like I said here tonight, don't be scared of bringing on board your experiences. I want us to see this class as very interactive, very engaging. There is something for us to learn. We must be able to learn from one another. I cannot be able to, like, I can stay here tonight and give you like 1,001 practical experiences. But as we go on in the class or in the session, there will be some examples that will be popping up here and there. And also, there are some of colleagues here that have experiences working in a particular organization, and they are bringing those ideas to bear. So that's why it's very important that we make this class as interactive as possible. If you have um, issues that you've encountered, challenges you've encountered working as a project manager, I think it's very key to bring it here So ISO is just like a certification. Okay, it's a class. ISO is a standard, just like as we have in Nigeria when you say sachet water. Okay, where if it is not certified by NAFDAC, say it doesn't have NAFDAC number. When there's no NAFDAC number, I mean, you can't sell your pure water in public space, in public domain, because it's going to be an issue for you. Okay, so it's very key to understand that for every project, quality assurance, the quality assurance team ensures that they go for the best certification. They go for every field has certifications. Okay, even as a quantity surveyor, you must belong to what do they call them? ESV something something, QESV something. Okay, something asset valuers and surveyors and think, yeah. So whatever field you are delving into, you should have a measure of what? Quality assurance. It helps to build your project. Okay, yeah, thank you. SON. Okay, so it's very key to understand that for every yeah, sure, you're going to get some materials. Then yes, ISO is just like it's an international organization for standardization. Okay, so it just helps organizations to know that, see, we have come to this organization, found out what their processes, and we are satisfied with the level of what processes that they have adopted to get to where they are. That's what we talk about. Okay, so you should also have review your processes and ensure that they are being followed through. So sometimes you hear that the audit team, there will be audit here and there. Sometimes in the public sector, you hear that they're coming for audit to audit organization, how the processes are being carried out. Do they meet standards? Even after you are certified by NAFDAC, from time to time, they come to your organization unannounced. They come to your business unannounced. They come to wherever you are carrying out a business function or project unannounced. As an engineer, you have the Society of Engineers, you have COREN, you have a whole lot of bodies here and there. Okay, so these are standardized bodies that regulate, okay, that see through that you're practicing the way it's supposed to be done. Okay, all right. So you should also be able to identify areas of improvement. Okay, looking at the project you're carrying out, what areas do I need to improve? Okay, so the once upon a time, I think it's still in place where you buy anti-malarial drugs. There's a code, something you have to scratch, like it's you scratch off, and they say if you don't see a particular this or that, then it means it's not authentic or things like that. Okay, and then you should be able to also plan to implement preventive actions. So based on the audits and reviews, QA ensures that you should be able to take corrective actions and adjust your processes and prevent future defects. Yeah. Yes, I think, yeah, that's all. Yeah, yeah, sure. Even in building materials, yes. Yeah, barcode, there are things like that. So they a whole lot. I think we are getting the idea behind this class. So far, so good tonight. I think we are moving and we are getting somewhere. I think the knowledge level is really beautiful. So very shortly, we will take a break, okay, to take our attendance and then refresh ourselves. Once we return, we would continue the session to talk about some of the techniques we need to apply in quality assurance. Okay. All right. So for me, Ayanduku, when we return, we would take your question, okay? All right, see you at the other half of the class. My name remains Kingsley.
Dear DSA students, we are so excited to be on this journey with you, and we want to say a big well done for your commitment and enthusiasm so far. Whether you have just joined or you have been learning with us over the past few weeks, we see your progress and we are rooting for you all the way. Now, we know there's been a bit of silence around the learning management system, and we sincerely apologize for that. But here's the good news. We have an update as regards the learning management system, and it is one you'll love. Some of you may have been onboarded on the previous LMS, but want to ask that you kindly disregard any previous link, platform, or communication concerning that old system. We are officially switching to a new platform that you may be familiar with, Canvas by Instructure. For those new to Canvas, don't worry. A video tutorial will be uploaded to guide you step by step on how to use the platform effectively on our YouTube channel. You will also receive an onboarding email directly from Canvas by Instructure to help you get started. Please follow the instructions in the email and input your details to begin your learning journey on the platform. We are committed to making sure your learning experience is smooth, interactive, and impactful. So please, pay close attention to the announcements coming right after this video for more details. We are so glad to have you with us. Keep going, you've got this. Dear DSA students, we are so excited to be on this journey with you, and we want to say a big well done for your commitment and enthusiasm so far. Whether you have just joined or you have been learning with us over the past few weeks, we see your progress and we are rooting for you all the way. Now, we know there's been a bit of silence around the learning management system, and we sincerely apologize for that. But here's the good news. We have an update as regards the learning management system, and it is one you'll love. Some of you may have been onboarded on the previous LMS, but want to ask that you kindly disregard any previous link, platform, or communication concerning that old system. We are officially switching to a new platform that you may be familiar with, Canvas by Instructure. For those new to Canvas, don't worry. A video tutorial will be uploaded to guide you step by step on how to use the platform effectively on our YouTube channel. You will also receive an onboarding email directly from Canvas by Instructure to help you get started. Please follow the instructions in the email and input your details to begin your learning journey on the platform. We are committed to making sure your learning experience is smooth, interactive, and impactful. So please, pay close attention to the announcements coming right after this video for more details. We are so glad to have you with us. Keep going, you've got this. Dear DSA students, we are so excited to be on this journey with you, and we want to say a big well done for your commitment and enthusiasm so far. Whether you have just joined or you have been learning with us over the past few weeks, we see your progress and we are rooting for you all the way. Now, we know there's been a bit of silence around the learning management system, and we sincerely apologize for that. But here's the good news. We have an update as regards the learning management system, and it is one you'll love. Some of you may have been onboarded on the previous LMS, but want to ask that you kindly disregard any previous link, platform, or communication concerning that old system. We are officially switching to a new platform that you may be familiar with, Canvas by Instructure. For those new to Canvas, don't worry. A video tutorial will be uploaded to guide you step by step on how to use the platform effectively on our YouTube channel. You will also receive an onboarding email directly from Canvas by Instructure to help you get started. Please follow the instructions in the email and input your details to begin your learning journey on the platform. We are committed to making sure your learning experience is smooth, interactive, and impactful. So please, pay close attention to the announcements coming right after this video for more details. We are so glad to have you with us. Keep going, we've got this.
Hello and welcome back. Can I confirm that you are back and you had a very good short break? Can I confirm that we are ready? Are we ready? All right. So, I think one of the participants was talking about um, QA in the system, like practical examples, how we can be able to navigate and all that. We have a whole lot of projects where QA and QC can actually be applied. Okay, we have in building, we have, for example, like people who are into concrete and steel work, people who building of roads, bridges, dams, earthworks, A whole lot. Even paints, steel. You know, we, when you the mixture that gives you steel, man, you can't joke with it. If it is not mixed in the right proportion, the steel would there would be some like deformation. It would be like as if there's air in it. Those in the food and beverage sector, you talk about ensuring food safety. If the quality is poor, it may lead to stomach issues, um, even the shelf life. We talk about those when doing dealing with raw materials. We talk about people who are handling processing equipments. We're talking about those in the fabrics, garments, textile industry, pharmaceutical, the quality and the purity of pharmaceutical products. There are a whole lot of rigorous regulatory standards and safety guidelines that must be put in place. Or are we talking about those in the pipelines where our pipes, like for example, in some countries where the gas have to go underground, even in Nigeria here, delivery of petrol and other things. Are you talking about welding? Are you talking about? I mean, there are many. So there are a whole lot of sectors, even in agriculture. We got if the grains, the nuts, the fruits that we eat, if they are contaminated, if the moisture content is not right, we have to measure. In fact, one of the things that NAFDAC looks at these days is moisture content, and a few other organizations like that, even Standards Organization of Nigeria. So you must ensure that from the supply of the food or product or fruit to the production, to the processing, to the distribution, it means a whole lot of quality assurance must be considered. So there's a whole lot. There's a whole lot. Just name it. It's endless. It's endless. Okay. So let's look at some of the techniques we can apply in quality assurance. We can talk about audits where you periodically, from time to time, you have to review the processes. Okay. Are they in compliance with the standards and procedures? We got it right today doesn't mean that we can make error tomorrow. Okay. Sometimes you can see, even when people do eat bread, you can see some nylon in it, pieces of nylon. Sometimes you can see stone, you can see other things. So what are those issues? Quality. You need to audit, you need to review the processes. Where did this nylon came in from? Where did stone particles coming from? You're right. It doesn't mean that we can't say clearly in this class, because it's beyond our concept to say that the standards organization is compromising. But what we're saying is, from this class, as a project manager, you should get it right. If people are compromising, don't join them to compromise. So the certification process may be correct, but a lot of people want to cut corners to get certified and things like that. So it's not only in certifications, but even in the organizations, they compromise quality. So there are a lot of things we should as project managers focus on. Then benchmarking. You have to compare the processes. What are the best industry best practices? There's what we call global best practice. So what are the global best practices in that field of your endeavor as the project manager? Are you actually following through the industry global best practice? Then you should have what we call a plan, do, check, act cycle. So it's a process that you evaluate for continuous improvement. It's a model where you plan, you do, that is, after planning, you execute. After execution, you check. You evaluate. That's why you hear this word monitoring and control. Okay? And then you act based on the feedback or the action taken. So please, let's remember that word tonight. PDCA. Okay? Plan, do, check, and act. Okay? So I'm giving you a model that can help you in quality assurance. Okay? All right. So let's go ahead. Then let's talk about quality control. Remember, we said that quality control we've looked at the definitions, we've looked at the holistic um, idea that both quality control and quality assurance are trying to bring on board. But we're also adding here tonight that it's reactive. So it doesn't focus on preventing, it focuses on identifying and fixing any issues after they have you see them happen. Okay, so it is primarily concerned with ensuring that the product meets quality standard at the end of the process. It is also product oriented. So when we say product oriented, it's not ODCA, okay? Only it is PDCA, all right? All right. So then it is product oriented, okay? So we don't focus here on the process that you use to achieve the aim. What we focus on is the end product, okay? At the end of the day, how is the product? You can use whatever method you want to use, but you must get it right. Then defect detection and correction. The primary goal of QC, quality control, is to detect defects and then or deviations or non-conformities, and then you take corrective actions to resolve them. For example, um, we're looking at the conglomerate sector where we have the beverage sector. Okay, someone just a few days ago, someone I think a stakeholder said that he found safety pin in a biscuit that he purchased. I don't know the brand. I don't. It's not my duty to check up what exactly the brand was, but it's quite unfortunate because the person who was involved almost lost her life. The cost of the biscuit is not even up to 100 naira. So sometimes we look at the question is how did safety pin get into the biscuits? Packaging, well packaged and distributed. Some persons would sue the organization for that. I'm telling you. So these are some of the things that the QA team and the QC team, QAQC, should really be very sure to check up before packaging. Before packaging, be sure that there are no, sometimes it sounds somehow, but that's the truth. How can you find safety pin in a biscuit? How does it happen? Where did it come in from? So in the first place, safety pin should not even be in the production room or even in the packaging department. So these are some of the things we're talking about. Verification of deliverables. Quality control ensures that the final outputs are aligned with the client's expectations, requirements, and project specifications. So it must tick all the boxes for good. I think that's the best word to use. It must tick all the boxes. And that is where we are. That's where we are. So it must tick all the boxes. It must tick all the boxes. So it's very key to understand that. Are we together? I need to be sure that we are together. Are we together? Are we together? Okay. Yeah. Ola, you are, I think you can also be right. So sometimes so those things that happen, the in-betweens, those are the things that we need to manage. That's why you have a QA team. And then the QC team, like I am doing now, has seen that, oh, I got a report from the from a customer that the product had pin inside of it. How? So I have to go back. Cannot even we can't check to be sure how many of the products has pin in it. So it's very important. It's very important. Okay. Focus. Focus. They have to focus on the project. Okay. So some of the steps we need to oh, you can see Adedeji says that sometimes she found straw even in beverage drinks. You can imagine. Can a QA team also handle QC aspects? Sometimes they do. Sometimes they have a department that is just for quality management. Okay. Sometimes they can split them, but they work hand in hand. Okay. They work hand in hand. Okay. So a QA team, you may not necessarily be able to differentiate them from QC, but because they have knowledge of a bit of this and that. Sometimes you see some firms, organizations, we swap, do what we call go and have a knowledge here, and you come back here. So from time to time, because when you stay so long in that one particular aspect, it's not too good. Okay, sometimes it's good to interchange. Though some may disagree and say, I think it's best to just be QC so that you can always focus. But I am that school of thought that it's also good to interplay, positions sometimes so that you can be able to also add value. Okay. So yeah, so you should be able to establish what are the criteria. Every project has set criteria that it must meet. Okay. When, for example, you're trying to define the acceptable defect level or performance benchmark for a product. So sometimes um ha Yetunde, this kind of question I don't understand. How do you want me to answer that? Okay, would you say DSA moving from doctor as QA or QC, sir? Okay, I'm sure maybe one of us in the class would definitely answer that. But what we're saying is that for every activity, every product that comes into the market, there must be a minimum acceptable standard. Okay, there's something you cannot go below. Okay, Indomie has set a standard for themselves. If you purchase a particular flavor of Indomie and the taste is below your expectations, then it means it's either adulterated or something is wrong. Okay. All right. So you should be able to conduct inspections and tests, be able to use some kind of tools to inspect or test the deliverables against the quality criteria. So, example, you're having a software application, you need to carry out functional testing. You need to test even before it goes to the Play Store. You need sometimes you get some messages from friends or friends of friends who says that we are testing a new software. Please, can you test and tell us exactly how your experience. We even have web testing platforms where you can test out new applications to see how functional that they are and give feedback as well. So you should also be able to identify defects. Okay, any deviations you notice from from the quality standards, like bugs in software. Sometimes you may open Microsoft Word or any other Office application, or not just Office, maybe any application, whatever. Okay, you discover that sometimes it closes just unexpectedly. It could be a bug or something. Maybe you have to restart the system or update. Even sometimes you experience that in use of social media, some of the social media platforms, where until you have to update, you may not really get the best of it. And then you work towards correcting any identified defects or issues. Okay. And then there's what we call, finally, you have to do your final verification. Once every defect has been addressed, you conduct a final inspection or test to ensure that the deliverables meet the required quality standard. Sometimes when a product stays long in the warehouse, you can find weevils in some of the products like Semovita. Yeah, sometimes when you have that, it's because even those products need to be kept in the lab for testing. From 6 months or 3 months to a particular product, you should be able to have run a laboratory test on that particular product to determine or ascertain its moisture level content, the highest that it can go, its elastic limit, so that, because you can't imagine somebody saying, okay, I bought like a brand of Semovita, and at the end of the day, this is this or that inside of it, and things like that. So sometimes it's very discouraging. Okay. All right. So then we look at the next, some of the tools or techniques you can apply in quality control. Sometimes you can use charts where you can run you plot the x and y, okay, to determine the performance and variations over time, which will help you to look at, okay, look the process over time, over a year, or over 6 months, over 3 months, over a month. Has it been positive? Has it been negative? So it helps to determine what next steps to take. And then, like I did mention earlier, I said something about checklist. A checklist is also very good, okay, where you look at the necessary steps or inspections you have actually completed to reduce the chances of possible oversight. Okay, so sometimes we don't just overlook anything. You just don't overlook anything. You have to tick all the boxes, all the necessary boxes. This product, um, when it was packaged, who is it going to be delivered to, how long, feedback. Document everything, every checklist need to be um, brought on board. So Innocent Cecilia says, as a tester, I make sure web is free of bugs, and we do thorough testing before releasing products to clients. Very, very key. Okay. Can we avoid QC, or do we plan ahead for defects? Please, I've said this several times that as a project manager, always plan, expect the unexpected. Even after planning, sometimes something can go wrong. Okay. Adedipe says that just like the day she got Semovita from a store and she saw white maggots, thank God that she normally sieved it before cooking. So Adedipe, you did some QC, Q, or would I say QC before using it. I'm really happy to see that. One thing that this learning does is that it gives you another eye to look at everything that you do. You see, as a project manager, you can do without QC, QA, and QC. Even as a normal day life, daily living, you apply QA and QC. It's very key. It's very key. It's very correct. Okay. All right. Then you have to also inspect and test the products. Okay. You need to check um either way, whether you want to be technical or you want to be manual. You have to identify defects, whichever way you want to do it. Okay. So we need to examine every activity. Okay. Test them from start to finish. Okay. All right. How do you handle products that until you want to use it before you can open it? Okay. All right. So always try to sieve. Okay. It's very important. Always try to save. No matter how you just purchase, try to pour it out on something that's very transparent that you can see, looking before you. So, what are some of the relationships? Okay, they are complementary, but they are different. Okay, so QA tries to prevent defects. Okay, while tries to identify and correct the defects after they have been produced. So, both processes work hand in hand. So, QA focuses on process improvement while to avoid future defects, while QC focuses on detecting and fixing current issues. So those are the differences. I think tonight we can say yes, we have some. We've really learned something. So why is it important? It helps to minimize issues of going back to the beginning to rework that particular activity, and also it tries to reduce wastage. Okay, so it helps us to identify issues where they need to be identified and see how best we can tackle them. We also It also helps to improve customer satisfaction. So when the level of quality is high, okay, I think we get more satisfaction. Sometimes you go to Trustpilot. That's why when you are a heavy product user, most times you tend to go online for to see reviews about those products and see how they are faring before you even purchase them. Okay, so then also it helps to it boosts cost efficiency. Okay, so when we identify and correct defects early enough, okay, it helps us to improve our processes and avoid them quite early through QA, right? So we don't spend even much more than where we need to. And it helps to also keep us in tune with the standards and regulations as regards the the industry where we find ourselves working. Okay, and also help to manage the legal requirements, the safety standards, and all that. So when how do you support in quality control of a company you don't belong? Okay, it all depends. Sometimes you can be an outsider. You can be, for example, a certified um, let's say a certified builder, for example, or you are licensed. Sometimes when you see a building that is not exactly the way it's supposed to stand, or it looks rather not too comfortable to the manager, you introduce yourself and then give your opinion, and then if they welcome it, fine. If they don't, then if you feel like taking a step further, fine. If you don't, then that's it. So it also helps to increase engagement. Okay, everyone together, you know your efforts, what you're doing, the level of impact you're making, and yeah. So Olushola learned, so she learned a lot, and she has been referencing her last project, a book illustration and production. She can now see her mistakes and why she had to face some challenges she had to deal with. Thank you so much, Olushola. That's a very positive feedback you're giving, not just to me, the facilitator, but also to Digital Skill of Africa. That yes, they are really doing a good work by bringing out these um, course to everyone. Okay, and we are here to provide you with the necessary skills to get up. So how do we integrate both QA and QC into the project life cycle? So QA begins where you set the objectives and identify the standards. So that's at the initiation phase of your project. So it helps to, like, you don't want to get it wrong. You want to start well. So you talk about quality from the beginning, and are there standards we need to comply with? That is where QA comes in. Okay. And then number two, at the planning phase, QA develops the quality management plan. So, and then QC defines what criteria are necessary would we use to inspect and test the outcomes, the deliverables? So we want to build a house, three-story building, for example, or you want to an 11-kilometer road project or a pedestrian bridge. So from the beginning, you have a plan in place, and then quality control comes in place where you ask yourself, see, it's not just building. What if somebody, how many persons, what load capacity can the pedestrian bridge carry? What load capacity can the road bridge carry? So you're already thinking quality. What kind of cement are we going to use? What kind of scaffolding equipment are we going to use? So you are now asking yourself questions. Then at the execution phase, yes, please, I advise. That's part of the reason why you are in this course. So you will try. Yes, I advise every project manager to undertake a QA and QC course. Very important. Okay. Then in execution, QA ensures that processes are followed according to the plan. You don't deviate except there's a change. So and you know that to go through a change, you must go through the change management process. Okay. So QC involves you're testing out, you're inspecting the products as they are being produced. Then you have to monitor and control. Every project must be monitored and controlled. Okay. So if there are areas for improvement, you suggest where they need to be improved, and then you move ahead. And then also, finally, here you have closing, where the QA, you need to review the overall project process for any improvements whatsoever, while QC performs the final verification of deliverables. So before the after the packaging, we ask ourselves as a project manager, is it ready to be distributed? Okay. So before you put a call across to your distribution managers and things like that, you have to look at, are we ready to send this into the market? So you find out that in every stage or phase of the project lifecycle, QA and QC are involved. All right, so let's look at what we call the fishbone diagram. Already, you know that the fishbone diagram is just a cause and effect. So a cause and effect diagram where that looks at the root cause. Sometimes it looks at the root cause analysis. Okay. Yes, please. I don't know, but Cecilia, there's no man is an island. There's a whole lot. As long as your brain can carry, but you need to also be focused. Very important. Okay. All right. So at time you have to look at. You need to have a checklist. You need to look at the root cause. You need to run charts. You need to look at Pareto analysis. Okay. And then you need to also talk about Pareto analysis, where you need to look at use of flowcharts. Okay. Then, when you talk about Pareto analysis, you're looking at a decision making tool where 80% of the benefit of that particular project, you can achieve it when you do 20% of the work. So 80% of the problems of a particular project can actually be traced to 20% of the cost. So if you look at, so when a project fails, for example, what caused that project to fail might be quite minute because it was ignored, because it was not really looked into. So there are different ways to tools or tools that you can use to analyze your um, the issues that you face in quality control. Okay, so here you can use the fishbone diagram, which is displayed here right now. You can look at where you can just list them out as they are. What method am I going to use? You can already see the problem statement here. We have iron. There's iron in the products. Okay, so why are there iron? You look at the environment. Possibly the pipe was exposed. There were opening lines. Um, there were rust at some point here and there. Then the manpower, they are inexperienced. You have some rusty pipes. The maintenance department, they're not doing the work as they're supposed to do. So that led to that particular problem. So, having identified the problem, the root cause, okay. So, having identified the root cause, now you are looking at other how can I bring all these things together? Okay, yeah, thank you, Eli. Eli Super is a Ishikawa. So but generally we just say the fishbone. Okay, so why we call it fishbone is it has the structure of a fish. Okay, all right. So in that, looking at the structure, you can summarize the root cause, the problems, and everything, and see how to resolve it. Okay, so that's that about the fishbone, where you bring up all the issues, the root cause, and then present it. Just at a glance, we can see clearly the root cause, okay, of that particular problem, and then be able to address it. Okay, and then you also have a check sheet, checklist, where you impute the name of the project. Okay, yeah, you can see online. Okay, just to add credence to what you are learning tonight. Okay, so the project name, the name of the person who is entering the data, the location, and the dates this data were collected. Okay, so you can list the defects day to day, maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You list all the defects that you observed and take a stock of it. Okay, that's a checklist. Okay, so you're looking Can you hear me loud and clear, please? Hello, can you hear me loud and clear, please? Hello. All right. So we're back. All right. Thank you. So so that checklist, you can just list out the issues or the defects. Not necessarily, it may not be a defect here. It may be an issue that you identified in the project. So you list them out and number them based on the days or the weeks or the months. And then, like I said, you can use a chart. Okay. So it must not be the sequence as it is here, but what I'm saying clearly is that you can use different visuals to represent what the message you're trying to pass through. Okay, you can plot a graph month January against January against February or March and things like that. So it can actually happen. Okay, and then you can also use a scatter diagram. Okay, so where you a percentage of father who has children with that attended university, and then you want to know the mean body mass index of their children. So it could you can plot whatever with against any other. So depending on the on what exactly you want to compare, okay, or draw inference into. Okay, so I think that brings us to a wonderful session tonight. So let's take a few questions. How has the class been with you tonight? Any issues? Um, is there anything we need to talk about? We can do that in five. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Olayuola. Yes, the fives will come in the why, the what, the how, the when, the who, why. So you ask yourself the questions. What exactly happened? Why did it happen? When did this happen? Begin to ask yourself those questions. And it is in answering those questions that you can find answers and solutions to resolve whatever issues that you have encountered. So, in the next class, we will talk about procurement process. So, don't miss that class for anything. I just want to tell you, it's going to be very, very, very interesting. And like I said, let the class be more interactive, more engaging, and feel free to share your experiences as much as you can. Um, thank you for all the kind words. So very peaceful. I really appreciate, and I remain humble. And I try to say thank you for being here. Without you, I would not be here. So, if there are any questions, fine, and we can take them 2 3 minutes. But if there are none, then we prepare for the next class. Okay, okay. Don't worry. The network issues are part of the constraints. Okay, I think it's part of the constraints we're experiencing. Network constraints. Okay, in project management. I think that would be a very wonderful course if we can. You know, don't mind me. Um, that is it. So, yeah. So, looking forward to having everyone in the next class. So allow me, the plotting the graph may not really be a concern, but I share your I share that with you, your view. But first you need to understand what exactly am I going to plot against what? Okay. So what exactly you must compare two or more than two variables. Okay. So you may need to understand um, why are they not growing as expected? Could it be as a result of the feed? Could it be the environment, water? Could it evaluate what exactly the issues were in January, the progress in February? So you may decide to look at a 3 months plan. What exactly in these 3 months were there progress? Where did we have more progress? Where were there less progress? So some of these things can be, but we can always talk about it. Okay. So can I confirm you can still hear me? All right. So if you can hear me, I want to say on behalf of myself, Kingsley, and Nancy Baba Ali, we say have a wonderful night rest, and see you tomorrow in the next class. No, Stella, yes, it should depend on the project that you are actually doing. Okay, all right. Okay, so I think tomorrow we will definitely start with a session of maybe a few questions, and then we can go from there. All right. On behalf of Digital Skillup Africa, Kingsley and Nancy Babale, we say have a wonderful night rest and see you tomorrow. Good night.
Dear DSA students, we are so excited to be on this journey with you, and we want to say a big well done for your commitment and enthusiasm so far. Whether you have just joined or you have been learning with us over the past few weeks, we see your progress and we are rooting for you all the way. Now, we know there's been a bit of silence around the learning management system, and we sincerely apologize for that. But here's the good news. We have an update as regards the learning management system, and it is one you'll love. Some of you may have been onboarded on the previous LMS, but want to ask that you kindly disregard any previous link, platform, or communication concerning that old system. We are officially switching to a new platform that you may be familiar with, Canvas by Instructure. For those new to Canvas, don't worry. A video tutorial will be uploaded to guide you step by step on how to use the platform effectively on our YouTube channel. You will also receive an onboarding email directly from Canvas by Instructure to help you get started. Please follow the instructions in the email and input your details to begin your learning journey on the platform. We are committed to making sure your learning experience is smooth, interactive, and impactful. So please, pay close attention to the announcements coming right after this video for more details. We are so glad to have you with us. Keep going, you've got this. Dear DSA students, we are so excited to be on this journey with you, and we want to say a big well done for your commitment and enthusiasm so far. Whether you have just joined or you have been learning with us over the past few weeks, we see your progress and we are rooting for you all the way. Now, we know there's been a bit of silence around the learning management system, and we sincerely apologize for that. But here's the good news. We have an update as regards the learning management system, and it is one you'll love. Some of you may have been onboarded on the previous LMS, but want to ask that you kindly disregard any previous link, platform, or communication concerning that old system. We are officially switching to a new platform that you may be familiar with, Canvas by Instructure. For those new to Canvas, don't worry. A video tutorial will be uploaded to guide you step by step on how to use the platform effectively on our YouTube channel. You will also receive an onboarding email directly from Canvas by Instructure to help you get started. Please follow the instructions in the email and input your details to begin your learning journey on the platform. We are committed to making sure your learning experience is smooth, interactive, and impactful. So please, pay close attention to the announcements coming right after this video for more details. We are so glad to have you with us. Keep going, you've got this. Dear DSA students, we are so excited to be on this journey with you, and we want to say a big well done for your commitment and enthusiasm so far. Whether you have just joined or you have been learning with us over the past few weeks, we see your progress and we are rooting for you all the way. Now, we know there's been a bit of silence around the learning management system, and we sincerely apologize for that. But here's the good news. We have an update as regards the learning management system, and it is one you'll love. Some of you may have been onboarded on the previous LMS, but want to ask that you kindly disregard any previous link, platform, or communication concerning that old system. We are officially switching to a new platform that you may be familiar with, Canvas by Instructure. For those new to Canvas, don't worry. A video tutorial will be uploaded to guide you step by step on how to use the platform effectively on our YouTube channel. You will also receive an onboarding email directly from Canvas by Instructure to help you get started. Please follow the instructions in the email and input your details to begin your learning journey on the platform. We are committed to making sure your learning experience is smooth, interactive, and impactful. So please, pay close attention to the announcements coming right after this video for more details. We are so glad to have you with us. Keep going, you've got this. Dear DSA students, we are so excited to be on this journey with you, and we want to say a big well done for your commitment and enthusiasm so far. Whether you have just joined or you have been learning with us over the past few weeks, We see your progress and we are rooting for you all the way. Now, we know there's been a bit of silence around the learning management system, and we sincerely apologize for that. But here's the good news. We have an update as regards the learning management system, and it is one you'll love. Some of you may have been onboarded on the previous LMS, but want to ask that you kindly disregard any previous link, platform, or communication concerning that old system. We are officially switching to a new platform that you may be familiar with, Canvas by Instructure. For those new to Canvas, don't worry. A video tutorial will be uploaded to guide you step by step on how to use the platform effectively on our YouTube channel. You will also receive an onboarding email directly from Canvas by Instructure to help you get started. Please follow the instructions in the email and input your details to begin your learning journey on the platform. We are committed to making sure your learning experience is smooth, interactive, and impactful. So please, pay close attention to the announcements coming right after this video for more details. We are so glad to have you with us. Keep going, you've got this.